Hello and welcome back to Life Mastery, Find Your Path to Success. Thank you for being with us today. I hope you've enjoyed the day up until now. And we have our final speaker coming on in a little while. We have an intuitive soul mentor coming on. And this is going to be a fascinating talk and presentation. Really looking forward to hearing what Hana Esselink has got to say. Once Hana's finished, we will have a little bit of a tie-up for the day, and then at 4 o'clock we will have our Q&A session. We may have that a little bit earlier depending on how many questions we've got coming through and how many people we've got waiting on there to talk. So without further ado, let's bring on Hana. Let's just go to the waiting room and bring her in. Good afternoon, Hana.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. It's great to be here.
Really looking forward to your talk. If you're ready to go, I will hand you over to the Zoom controls to you and you can crack on.
Okay, thank you. Cheers, John. I'm ready. So, hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I am so glad that we're here, and I'm going to be throwing some stats at you straight away. And these are quite sobering stats, actually. And the first one is, did you know that 98% of people actually die without fulfilling their dreams? And they take their dreams that they have in their heart with them to the grave. And that's just so tragic because of the number, how big it is. I did some research on this, and it basically means that people are happy to live unhappy lives, whether you're doing that consciously or, subconsciously. And data from the Global Dreams Index survey shows that over half of the world's women's population have actually given up on their dreams. Now, whether that's because they don't feel like they're living their true purpose or they've just given up, these are questions that need to be answered, really. But most of them are unsatisfied with their lives. And the killer, this is the killer, wait for it. The number one top regret of the dying, as witnessed by an Australian palliative nurse called Bronnie Ware, and she did this research, I read it in 2012, 8 years ago, in the Guardian newspaper. The number one top regret: I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. So, what I've realized from that, is that time is a gift. Time is really a gift, and none of us really know how long we're here for. So if you want to live true to your heart, you don't want to deny who you really are. You need to find your purpose and what your purpose actually really is. So the problem is, guys, that most people are really stuck, and they won't admit that they're stuck. They deny that they're stuck, and then they deny that they deny that they're stuck. So most people are actually living in this kind of double denial. And I've seen that time and time again. What I want to ask all of you out there right now is, if you had a magic wand, and if there were 3 things in your life that you could change, what would you change right now? And I'm going to give you a minute to have a think about that. And please think of one thing specifically, because you'll need to take it forward into my presentation a little bit later on. So this could be anything. It can be anything simple from moving house, or it can be something more complex. It can be a relationship. It can be finances, or it could just be a frustrating situation that you're just, going around and around in that hasn't been resolved. And so now if you take away that magic wand, I hope you've all got those 3 things written down or thinking of them. What's stopping you from actually changing what's going on there? Why are you stuck? So this is a universal problem, guys, because it's not something that just affects the UK. I've had people talk to me about it from Dubai, from Hong Kong, from Australia. And the problem is that we get used to being unhappy. We get used to being stuck. And I can almost hear some people now thinking to themselves, well, no, I'm not stuck. So that's the denial that I'm talking about. Because the thing is, I think a lot of people are really afraid to step outside of their comfort zone. So they just accept mediocrity and they give up. And the sad thing is that you've given up on being the best version of yourself. And like I said, this isn't limited to just the UK. This is everywhere around the world. For a lot of people, this affects a lot of people. And I know that 98% almost sounds like a cliche. But Bronnie Ware, that nurse, wrote that research, did that research 8 years ago. And from what I've been looking at, what I've been seeing, nothing much has really changed, you know? And why is that? Why are we giving up? Why are we giving up on who we really are, on becoming the best of ourselves? Do we not think it's important? Or is it because we've given up on our true soul purpose? A lot of the people I've spoken to, they say they know they should be doing this. They feel they should be doing that. They understand that there's a greater reality waiting for them, but they're so afraid to step out of the comfort zone that's been either created for them, or they're afraid of letting people down. And so they stay in this kind of shitty situation. And that's the sadness around it, really. There is a lot of sadness around that, because on the one hand, they're on the side of the fence that is really, you know, they're choosing to stay where they are. But on the other side, there is joy, fulfillment, happiness. Even just moving a little step further, you know, would enable you to see a bigger picture in your life. So I don't want you guys to just watch this video or, you know, as another talk, or, you know, we watch videos after videos, talks after talks, we read self-help books after self-help books, and yet we still feel that we don't really shift to the level that we really need to move on from a situation that's causing us a lot of stress, anxiety. You know, we live this mediocre life where we let bosses be really shitty to us, or families, people in the family. It's often circles around us. So it could be friends, family. It could be anybody that's close to you. I've seen people come here who've had big walls up from their mothers, their fathers, and they're just afraid. It's the fear that holds you in this place, you know. But what I want to say is, how can we make that shift? Because that shift can be made, and that shift must be made, because otherwise we just end up being one of those statistics that I was talking about. And nobody wants that. People, you know, I would ask you to think about whether you want to get to that stage of your life where weeks are going by, months are going by, years are going by, and you're still stuck in a state that you know you can walk out of if you find the courage in yourself to do it, and you find the right motivation to help you to do that, the right person to help you. So, sorry. What I've found with all my research that I've done, and I'm really glad the speaker before this spoke about meditation, because that is such an important tool, such an important, vital tool to healing yourself, what I call your inner self. Because the subconscious mind speaks its own language. From having talked to hundreds of people and helped them, I know that we're constantly being given signs by our subconscious mind if things are not right, you know, and that can be in the sign, that can be images, symbols, reoccurring dreams, or you can get flashes of inspiration where just for that moment you step out of that reality into another reality, and you know you can get there. Your soul or your inner self, whatever you want to call it, has taken you on that journey, and you've seen it, you've seen a glimpse of it. But then you come back to the next day and it's the same thing happening again, you know, the same habits, the same conscious mind driving you through things. And I think people get really used to things like distractions. You know, you get people who are drug addicts or alcoholics, and not just them by any means, and I certainly don't mean to be disrespectful to them, but what I'm saying is people don't deal with their problems because they just find distractions, or they're being put off, They're putting the issue off. Tomorrow never seems to come. Tomorrow, I'm going to start to deal with it. I know I can do better. And these are really excuses that we're only making to ourselves. And the only person we're really hurting with that is ourselves, is our inner being, you know. That's what is difficult for me to see that. And I have seen that with a lot of people. And the other thing is that you can be cynical about it. You can just say, oh, it doesn't work. You know, you can be watching my talk or somebody else talk and just thinking it doesn't work. Why bother? You know, next book, next video, next self-help tool, that sort of thing. And I'm certainly not saying that people don't try, but if you're not getting to the root of the problem, then there is an issue there. There is an issue there. And I think by listening to the language of the subconscious mind, we actually can shift more towards being kinder to ourselves, which enables us to be kinder to other people. And we develop empathy, we develop compassion, confidence, freedom, and ultimately fulfillment. I'm not going to say happiness because I think happiness is relative. And I think happiness, you can still be happy and having a kind of thoughtful, reflective day. You know what I mean? You don't have to be jumping for joy. You can be thoughtful. You can be writing a memoir. You can be watching something and you can be happy. You can be content. So for me, fulfillment is the better word because that's what I think it's about, you know. Even though happiness is a great word, but I think fulfillment is good. And I'm going to use an example here of a lady called Fiona. That's not her actual name, but you know, I've changed it for the course for this presentation. But she came to me at our very first meditation session that I did many years ago. And I remember after the meditation, she was very frustrated and very stuck in where she was in her life. She came up to me and she actually said, oh, I saw my book of life in the meditation. There was a massive book and I was reading it. And as I was reading it, there was a cat on the book and it just wouldn't let me turn the page off my book. So I was stuck. I was just seeing this cat and the cat wouldn't let me change. And I said, well, what's that cat? You know, I did Google it, but there were so many different interpretations. I thought it's none of those. And she said to me, I think I'm distracting myself too much and I can't go to the next chapter of my life. And that's the stage I'm at. And this is the thing, guys, this is what I'm saying. When you learn to tap into your subconscious, like you go deep within, it can give you so many different messages. And they are so different from what you see in your conscious day-to-day goings and wherever you're, you know, whatever you're doing, it's so different. So I think after we distract ourselves, we need to find a way to figure out how we move forward. So who am I? My name is Hana Esselink. I've been working in public relations and communications for 18 years now for corporate organizations, for public sectors, for charities, for individuals. And I've loved it. I've loved it. I've loved it. It's been a real journey. It's been a real great time to get, you know, great stuff into the news, watch your news flash by on the BBC or Sky or whatever. But it's also been a time of soul searching, like deep soul searching. You know, is this really what I want to do? And I've been an intuitive mentor for 10 years, a psychic and tarot reader for 15 years, and I've run meditation workshops for the past 6 years. And I'm also an author. And there's my book, The Vanishing Cafe. So my mission, guys, is to help people become unstuck, whatever that means for you guys out there. And that's exactly what I want to work with you on. I've worked with over 500 people plus in 3 years because I'm dedicated to helping people become unstuck. I really love that feeling of knowing that someone is going out of the door and they found some part of themselves that they thought that they'd lost or that has been buried so deep that they've just refused to look where their heart is, you know. And that's why, because I'm tired of seeing all the misery around me. I know what it's like to feel empty and hollow, lonely, depressed, destructive, you know, destructive relationships. But the thing is, if you give up on yourself first, you've kind of given up on a lot of things already, you know. And once you start to open yourself up, it's like that flower that's been closed, you really start to blossom. And that's what I help people to do. And if I can even serve one person doing that, I feel like I'm really helping humanity in some way. So what is intuitive soul mentoring? Ultimately, It is about what I've just said, about learning to be kind to yourself, raising your confidence and your vibration, freeing yourself from the shackles that really hold you back, but really knowing what those shackles are, because sometimes people come to me for readings, for example, and they think it's something completely different to what it actually is that's holding them back, you know. And then they're so surprised when I say, well, look, this isn't the challenge, this is the challenge you're having. And they're like, oh yeah, that's true. And then we start to work on those lines. And what I do is I use quite various tools to help people, including giving them homework to do, because I think that's quite important. And I'll give them tailor-made combination of intuitive soul mentoring and spiritual work, which includes really in-depth readings. And it's amazing what comes up in those readings. Sometimes things have come up in those readings that are people's challenges. I have 2 challenge columns, and they're amazed at what comes up because they've long forgotten about it, but it's still there. It's still kind of rolling around in their subconscious mind, or in their life in some way. They've left a door open. It's a revolving door, and this thing keeps on going round and round and round. And that's what we get to the bottom of. And the tools I use include tailor-made meditations, which I write myself, special affirmations, even prayers sometimes, because some people, their challenges are so deep that we believe in the power of prayer, and we do use that. We do use that as a cleansing tool, and it works. So what I help people do is identify any challenges or pitfalls that they're facing, whether it's now or in the past, and move them forward from that. And like I said, it's an exciting process, and it does open you up to another dimension in yourself, because I believe we are holistic beings, mind, body, spirit. You know, we are a combination of that. And to get to that point with people is actually really, really thrilling, because you can see they just light up and they're just like, wow, you know, and they move forward on the path that they know that they've come here to do. And it isn't always easy. It isn't, because sometimes you have to open a whole can of worms to get to the bottom of what's causing that problem. But then the healing itself is miraculous. It's beautiful. And it's an exciting healing process. It's designed to empower you to find your true purpose. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about my personal story here. There's quite a few, but I thought this one was very relevant, because the picture of that gentleman there is a guy called, it's a very beautiful picture taken by a photographer in East London. It's a guy called Alan Osborne, and I was helping him with some PR work. He was an artist, an abstract artist. And my story goes back to the late autumn of 2012, so end of November, beginning of December, when I woke up one day and I just felt so bad, so bad. I looked in the mirror and I was like, what the hell's happening to me? I was depressed. I was low. I was feeling like I didn't have hope in the world. I felt like nobody was really caring. And I just felt really, really down, really down. And I was going to my corporate job, taking the district line into Westminster Station, because I was working for a government organization there. And I just hit a wall. I just hit a wall. And I just remember thinking, if I don't deal with this, I'm going to have a breakdown. Something's not right. And I want to rewind that story a little bit further back to 2010, because that's when I started to work with Alan. And the thing about Alan was he'd been a very successful Fleet Street publisher, making a lot of money. And he was an older gentleman. And then he lost his business, lost a lot of money. It all spiraled out of control, and he started to drink, and he became an alcoholic. So when I met Alan at the University of East London, he was a fine art, older, mature student. I was working in their press office, but I'd stopped and started to work for him. And because I love art, and I loved his art. It was inspirational. It was gold and silver, and you know, it was just beautiful, beautiful, like it just fell down from heaven. And I was like, this is my ticket out. This is my way out of the corporate world. I am going to be with Alan. We're going to be together, working together as friends, you know, for a long time. And then the first exhibition, I got him onto BBC London News. It was about Greek contemporary mythology. He did really well. All the paintings sold. And he started to drink again afterwards, after that success. And I said, Alan, I can't work with you if you're going to be like this. You have to stop this. So he was going to AA meetings regularly. He started to go. He was getting better. He was getting stronger. He was a Christian gentleman, so he had faith, which was beautiful, actually. It was beautiful to see, you know. And then in 2012, earlier on, we were invited to do an exhibition about India. So he painted these beautiful pictures about India. And it was at the Nehru Centre in Mayfair, the exhibition. And it was managed to get onto Sunrise Radio, which is a Punjabi radio station. We got it onto the local news in East London, the Wharf, the Newham Recorder. And then I started my new job in the corporate city. Like I said, go back November 2012, waking up that day feeling the shittest I felt for like ages. And I used to call Alan 8:30 in the morning before I started my job. He used to live with his parents, believe it or not, in East Ham. So I called him. I was like, Alan, how are you? He didn't answer. It was his mum. And she said, oh, he's not very well. He's just babbling a lot. We think he's got the flu. Try at lunchtime. I was like, okay, no problem. I phoned back at lunchtime. I phoned back and his dad answered. And I said, hi, how's Alan? Can I talk to him? We need to talk about what we're doing. And he said, no, you can't talk to him because he's just passed away. I mean, just like that, gone. And I remember coming out of that, I was in the corridor out of the press office, and the room just literally spun around and I just burst into tears. And I called my senior press officer and I said, I can't go back in. You're not going to believe what's happened. And they gave me 4 days off, bless them. They were lovely. They gave me 4 days off. And I was gutted. I was gutted. I mean, I walked all the way around Westminster, St. James Park. I walked all the way to Victoria that day. I went to see a friend, a really good friend who lives near Clapham. And I was like, I couldn't cope. And I just like, my ticket to freedom was gone. And my ticket to helping him, something I really genuinely loved, was gone. And I was angry. I was angry with God. I was angry with Alan. I was angry for next few months. I was angry. But that led to an inward depression. And it was only after I went back to talk to my friend again, she became my mentor, my Portuguese friend, that I started to realize that I've got to get myself out of this situation. I'm in a mess. I'm in a mess. And I did. I started to do more of the meditation workshops. I got my intuitive mentoring stuff back online, and I just started to do what I wanted to do, but it was without Al. And, you know, and he was beating the alcoholism. That's why this was so hard, because we were at the top of the tree and he was like, you know, he was almost there. They were waiting for him in India for a big exhibition in Mumbai. The Hindustan Times were going to write about it. And suddenly it was just gone. It was just gone. No goodbyes, nothing, just gone. So that was devastating, really devastating. And that's when I decided I need to help myself. I need to help others to move through the emotional pains that they're feeling, and to get them to even recognize that it's there, because that's half the battle. You know, half the battle is to know that there is a problem. You feel it, but you don't know how to get yourself out of it. So what can you guys learn from all this, from everything I've just said? And this is some of the things that I would do. And I put example in this, I remember what I'm going to talk about, but how do I raise my emotional intelligence? That's such a buzzword nowadays, isn't it? Emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? Well, one of the things that it definitely incorporates is self-awareness of, you know, your own inner self, you know. And I can use an example of a lady called Julie, again, not her real name, who actually was a teacher and was very, very busy lady, didn't have time even in the evenings to do anything because she was training up other kids in the evening. And she said to me, I'd love to come and see you, but I don't know if I've got the time. And I said, well, I'm going to leave you to make that decision. Use your emotional intelligence. And if you want to still contact me, let me know. And she did, but it took her a while. But she did contact me. And she ended up staying for 5 years, which was amazing. And now she's a great leader in her own right, helping kids, progressing onto other levels. It's really good to see that happening. And it was with a tailor-made program that we kept working on and working on. She came to all the meditation workshops. So it was great. And the second point I want to make here, what else we can learn, is how to listen to yourself more. How do you listen to that little inner voice that you know is there, your gut, you know? And why is that even important? Well, Bob came to see me. Again, that's not his real name. And he was married to a lady from a completely different culture. And he was a Muslim and she was a Hindu. And they just had challenges from the word go, major, major challenges. And he was really stuck when he came to see me. So we developed a way to work forward. We developed a program. And I said, Bob, you need to learn to love yourself. And first he looked at me like, what are you talking about? You know, but eventually he softened through the sessions. He was learning to be that process I was talking about, being kinder to himself. He learned to be kinder to himself. And that actually helped him. That was like the window that helped him to see where he needed to go with his partner, with his wife. And he moved on from that situation, you know, with grace, you know, whereas before he was fighting it every day. There was a battle. So guys, I want to now propose something for you guys to go through this short little process with me, if you're open for it. It's a gift really to tap into your inner intuition, because I'm going to ask you, we can do a little few-minute meditation here. And if you've never meditated before, that's okay. Just sit there with your eyes open and just think. But if you have meditated before, or even if you've done a basic meditation like Calm or Headspace, that's absolutely fine. I just want you all to now sit back and just be a little bit relaxed and just think about those 3 things I asked you to write about where you're stuck. Bring one thing to the forefront now and just relax, close your eyes, close your eyes. Take a little deep breath in. Take a little deep breath in. Inhale and exhale again. And just relax, keep your spine straight as much as you can. If you have a problem with your back, then just be mindful of that. Take another deep breath in. And exhale. Just feel everything relax. And do that as many times as you need to. Just feel yourself relaxing, your body relaxing, your shoulders dipping down. Take that deep breath in, exhale. And now I just want you to imagine yourself. Just imagine yourself standing on a beach. A beautiful sandy beach. Keep breathing. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And as you're standing on that beach, I want you to start walking on the beautiful beach. The sun is warming you. And you can hear the waves lapping on your right-hand side. And the water is a beautiful turquoise color. And you're alone on this beach. And as you're walking, I just want you to stop before you, and on the sand there's a bottle, piece of paper and a pencil. I just want you to pick up those 3 things. And take another deep breath in and exhale. Just really feel yourself there. Just imagine the sand between your toes. Imagine the smell of the fresh air and the salt in the air. And then I just want you to write down whether you sit in the sand or whether you're standing. Just turn and face the ocean and write down one thing on that piece of paper that is keeping you stuck. And then when you've done that, just fold up that piece of paper and put it into the glass bottle. And just know in yourself that when you throw that bottle into the ocean, you're letting that thing go for now, so that it doesn't bother you. Just get it out of your thoughts. Throw it into the universe. So just throw that bottle when you're ready. Throw it into the ocean. Imagine yourself just letting it go. And just feel that release of tension leaving your body and your mind. And take another deep breath in and exhale. And then step back. Just really feel that something's gone from you at this moment in time. You don't have to search manically for the answer. Just know that it will come to you. So you can either walk back up the beach, or you can stay where you are. Take another deep breath in and exhale. Calm down your body, your heart energies, any other energy that you're feeling. And when you're ready, just bring your awareness back to the room where you are, back into your hands, back into your feet, and just open your eyes. So I hope everybody got at least a little bit of relaxation from that. But that's a very small tool to show you. And I normally take people through a lot longer process, but because of time constraints, I can't do that here. But that is one of the first steps into just tapping into yourself and kind of learning to trust the process that is inside you. Right. So this is my final slide, and it's my call to action, really, to kind of tell you guys what I'm offering at the moment. And I've offered different prices for different things. But what I'm offering at the moment is a 90-minute intuitive soul mentoring session, which includes a reading, if you're open to that, and other tools as well, to get you to shift from where you are to where you would like to be. That's usually £147 for the whole 90 minutes, but until midnight on Sunday, this Sunday, it is actually £99, and it's a no-brainer offer that I'm putting out there, really, because I want it to be something simple to reach people, and I want it to be also something that is going to be greatly beneficial to people. And you can purchase a session voucher at my website, which is www.inspiringmypath.com/soul.html. We have to put that bit in because otherwise it wouldn't work. But if you've got any questions, guys, I'm really open to hearing from you. And I've loved doing this presentation. I want to say thank you to John and to all the other people who've been on today, because they've been really good. And it's a bit weird doing it from your living room, but, you know, that's the space that we're in right now. And at least the sun is shining right in here. So thank you so much. And God bless you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful day wherever you are. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah.
Hi, John.
Thank you very much. That was amazing.
Welcome.
That meditation was sending me into a nice deep place there.
I know you want to stay there, don't you?
I even forgot to send you another time. How long we had left on the speech. Thanks you so much. Very, very informative. I'm sure people have taken a lot of positives away from that. We did get one. What's the word? What's the word I'm looking for?
Comment.
Comment. That's the word. Meditation and living in the present work's a treat.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So thank you very much. We're going to return in a very short time for any Q&As. We've got a couple.